happy now. Now is the vibrate, of course. Not going too far in the future. Not going too far in the past. Right now. Right now, I just want to speak on how me and old Moldavite finally departed ways. If you've been watching some of my past videos, matter of fact, on here on Instagram, my higher self stole my book sack. Wasn't the person was just kind of like benefiting on the physical level of taking the book sack, but it's my higher self that took my book sack from me. And so much so that it had my old Moldavite. A lot of us, we like Moldavite, higher chakras. I'm trying to go up, up to the sky. We have this type of vibe when we first get into our spiritual practices, or should I say, first getting to that place of ascension and really taking it serious, and becoming that greatest version. But I just want to speak a little bit about how to be careful with dealing with crystals like Moldavite. I think about phenakite is another one that has a high vibration on nirvana quartz, but more so Moldavite, because Moldavite definitely deals with the stellar gateway chakra, and the soul star chakra as well, but definitely the stellar gateway chakra. And not to get into the different aspects of the stellar gateway chakra fully, but I realized that part of the things, like, so when your stellar gateway chakra spinning too much, I realized that I was basically suffering from some of the symptoms that deals with. Now, for one, it's going to have a vibe. It's almost like if the interstellar gateway spinning too much, then the root chakra definitely not going to be spinning enough, in essence, or at a very low pace. And the root chakra, and in most cases probably the earth star chakra as well. But when the stellar gateway chakra is overspinning, you're kind of in this Piscean, Neptune-ish, dreamy, the future. Matter of fact, not so much the past as it has you like in the future, a little more specifically, because you're on this intergalactic vibe, and you're like, yeah, man. And sometimes it may have you in the past, because you may be on the past life vibe, because me and my brethren was going through that, where we was like, hey, and if you remember, I was kind of going through it a little bit, and for the better or the worse, quote unquote, what I'm saying, because everything happens for a reason. But anyway, I was going through the Lyran thing with the star beings and the Lyra star system, and being, the cat beings, but what we was, focus on the past lives, like, oh yeah, we was doing this and doing that, and we was on this star system and doing that, what I'm saying? Nothing wrong with reflecting on some of these things, but when you find yourself kind of like almost living there instead of being in your present now, that's when it becomes a little detrimental to your growth. And also, like, with the stellar gateway chakra spinning too much, you'll be focused on like the future, but also to a negative aspect, like you focus on the disasters that may be coming, and I went through that. If you remember, I was kind of like thumping a little hard on the earthquake situation, which I know that's another thing, the balance between, with having the ability to kind of see things in the future. You got to have that balance to be able to see things, but know that, hey, you right here, right now. Yeah, you might see that these things are, in most cases could possible have, because it is like a little toss of the coin type of vibration, It's like it's there, but it depends on where we at right now, moving forward. And then it'll tell whether those earthquakes or these tsunamis or whatever may come, But, when the stellar gateway chakra spinning too much, you're just kind of like, oh yeah, man, these earthquakes gonna come up. And you kind of got like an ego vibe to it, like, yeah, it's about to, kill all these people that's not woke and this and that, and it's like you're getting that vibration. So again, that's detrimental to your growth, because now you're kind of getting into a judgmental vibe, and that's a lower vibration in general, there's no other way to slice it. So you definitely get into that mode, like thinking of disasters, and just, again, always just focus on the future. I wonder what it's gonna be like this when this happening, and it's gonna be like that, and we're gonna be doing this, and like, again, ain't nothing wrong with reflecting in the past and kind of taking a little glance at the future, but again, reflection and glance, like quickly, diving in and diving out. you don't want to make this like the subject matter of every day, you know, going in, you know, it's like every day, at least for half of the day, you talking about these things, you know, just constantly so far in the future, or so far in the past, you know. And again, that's like slapping your higher self in the face and say, you know, because all that exists is right now. That's the only thing that exists. And right now, the future and the past exist. So with that being said, all that exists is right now. So by trying to go in the quote unquote past and the future all the time, it's like slapping your higher self in the face and saying, man, I'm not grateful for this moment. Like F this moment, you know. I don't care about this moment. I'd rather be with the Lyran people in our past life, or I'd rather be, you know, in this futuristic place that I've seen in visions I had. You know what I'm saying? Like no, but where you at now? You know, I mean, I think I'd rather not be in my body. I want to be back with Source right now. I want to, you know, you're in your body for a reason right now. You know what I'm saying? And whether it feels like you're in a prison or a jail or whatever, you know, it is what it is. You are where you at until Source, you know, look at the way Source always worked with us. Our higher self always worked with us. It always gave us the sauce when it was time for it. So, you know, just be in the now, and when it's time for you to do what you gotta do, ascend, or, you know, come out of the body, or whatever that case may be, you know, the situation will present itself. But you definitely want to just be careful with you know, that stellar gateway chakra spinning too much. And again, when that's spinning too much, you everywhere else, so you're not in the present, you know. So it's kind of like throwing off the root chakra. The root chakra deals with, you know, shelter, food, hygiene, fight or flight, you know, or fearlessness, taking care of yourself, you know. So you kind of lacking in these areas whenever you like this and that, you know. It's like you're not being in the moment right now. Military helicopter flying pretty low downtown LA. In fact, I'm at 7 in Figueroa. You know, that was pretty close. But anyway, the root chakra gets thrown off. You know, when you you know, especially again when dealing with these crystals like Moldavite and phenakite with no grounding. And honestly, a part of my growth, I knew what I was doing in the essence of like just throwing myself in the gauntlet, like, hey, I'm gonna work with it and I'm gonna figure these things out as I go, you know. Because again, I always knew indirectly, you know, that experience is the best teacher. You know, let me find out for myself. Of course, so-and-so said Moldavite do this, and of course, so-and-so said I need to ground while doing, but let me see if I really need to ground, you know what I'm saying? And then here come time later where like, yeah, it probably would have served me to be grounded in those times, you know. But hey, I'm here still in my little physical vehicle, you know what I'm saying? So, you know, lesson learned, and now I know for a fact of what it do, you know what I'm saying? And I don't really necessarily have to depend on a book telling me as much as it was my own experience of seeing, you know. Like, of course, mama tell us the stove hot. It's like, yeah, right, that motherfucker really hot. Like, you know, it's like, it's that vibe as well, and nothing, you know, thinking to being like kids, you know, or like nature, you know, just kind of just going with the flow, no regrets, but more so again like the little kid situation, like just, you know, experience, just moving, you know, and hope you bump your knee, but then you're like back doing whatever, you know. But definitely want to be grounded with dealing with these crystals. And so another thing too with the omens with the Moldavite, and then matter of fact, shout out to my friend Miss Tatiana. We was speaking on Moldavite, you know, and like about misplacing it, and you know, like that feeling of like, you know, should we go and get another one? And I'm like, think about it though, you know, it's more of a being in the brain thing about it. Cause like, ask yourself, do you feel good without it? And it's like, yeah, you know, and I'm asking both of you know, it's like, you know, yeah, it does feel good, you know, and I know for sure for myself, it's like, I don't even, you know, I'm not even worried about it. Like, I'm not even looking for another piece, to be honest with you. Like, I'm on some stuff where like, if somebody just like, here, Moldavite, you know, all right, cool, but my mind said, you know, like I say, don't mind working with it again. Don't get it twisted. But at the same time, it's like that feeling of like, all right, whenever you come back around, you obviously was trying to move around for a second. Whether it was that particular Moldavite, in essence, or just me being done with using Moldavite in general, Because again, we are the walking crystal, wearing the crystals just allows for our DNA and our auric field to tap into something with geometric molecular structure, something that has a form to its geometric structure, and that kind of allows for our DNA and everything in the body to kind of operate with that same type of structure. And I always say it's like helpers or reminders. By wearing this, it reminds my body of its perfection. Just how like some of these molecules of some of these crystals have a perfect shape. Like pyrite is a perfect cube shape, and you probably either had a piece or saw a piece of pyrite where it's an exact cube, straight from nature. That's just how it grows, and the vibration precedes manifestation, so it vibrates on the etheric level as a cube, and then on a physical level it ends up coming out as a cube. And then also seeing how the properties go with each other, shaped like a cube, and the cube goes with the earth vibration or grounding vibration, the Malkut. The Malkut also stands for like the crucifixion, because if you take I don't have my ink pen. If you take a cross or you take a cube and open it up, it could also make like a crucifix, like a cross, which that was also a representation of Malkut, the crucifixion, being in the physical body, the root chakra, being in the manger, the root chakra where the Christ energy was born, And then the Saturn energy also deals with that black box of that cube, or the grounding energy, That's why a lot of grounding stones that have a correlation to Saturn or to the Capricorn energy, But again, when we're working with these, when working with these high chakras, and with these crystals that attune to the high chakras, you definitely want to be grounded. Because again, matter of fact, fire agate is a good crystal to be grounded within your body, like to the star seeds, and I don't like using those terminologies because you don't want to box yourself into I'm an empath, I'm an indigo, I'm this, But for lack of a better word, if you feel the vibe of these situations, you feel like like you're from another planet, and you feel like I'm from this star system, I'm from this star system, I want to go back now. Newsflash. If you just want to go back now, if you could just snap back now, for one, you wouldn't be here. You would be in the ethers, being somebody's spirit guide right now, whatever the case may be. Or you would be able to just snap your fingers like Thanos. Which I gotta get into that at some point. But you just snap your finger and you'll be back to whatever planet, or wherever you trying to be at in the moment, other than where you at right now, Message. You're not trying to be in your now, you're trying to be somewhere else, and it's like, it is what it is. And two, that's where trying to figure out things through y'all too. Why am I here? And it's that ain't nothing wrong with us, looking for these type of answers. But it's like once you get to a certain place, it's like of learning. Like, all right, I'm here. Be grateful for being in the moment and things. The knowledge I need to know is already in me, and it'll come to me when the time is ready. I'll come out when the time is ready. But also, again, grounding yourself also helps balance the chakras. It helps for that Kundalini energy to flow, from out of the spine, out of the root chakra, and to the Bina, kind of like the Bina, B-I-N-A-H, or the crown chakra is like right at the top of the skull. I know you can't see, but it's really like at the top. But it goes there and then come back down in the front. But you definitely want to, the grounding crystals help to have that balance. And again, when you're not focused, when you're not focused on the now, and what's dealing with now, then you're not really taking care of yourself. You're not being in your physical being. If you dislike your bodysuit, then you at war with it. You know what I'm saying? And two, like that's the vibe that I catch. When I first got to Venice, and I made a video about that. It's like that vibration of just being, up here, dealing with the Moldavites and these other crystals that takes us so, far ahead instead of being in a moment. But again, though, to each his own on the growth, and everything is there for a reason. We go through these vibes for a certain reason, and if we find ourselves in these places, in the moment, it's a certain karmic thing we're working through, and a certain thing we're meant to go through in order to learn some type of lesson. So it is what it is. But just on mind, to be mindful of it, definitely want to ground yourself, because again, I use the analogy like, all right, let's say we're about to move to Pluto. We're about to go to Pluto. Like, we go to Pluto, and then we gotta have a bodysuit, so get our little bodysuit ready. That's gonna be, one with Pluto. And we've been excited. We've been talking about this trip to Pluto like for eons. You know what I'm saying? Forget years. Like, we've been talking about like going to Pluto for so many past lives and this life. We going to Pluto. It's going down on Pluto. And we want to be there. We done decide like, bro, all these other little places and this and that, they're cool, but I just want to be on Pluto. And then, we get to Pluto, we might bump our head, a little bit, but, we in our bodysuits, and then we like, bro, man, to hell with this bodysuit, man. I'm out of here. Or I want to go back to, Earth, or I want to go back to, these places. It's like, also thanks to like, you can't never be satisfied. That's the reason why we go through all these, different little duality tests. It's like, I can't wait till the weather is hot. Then when it get hot, oh man, it's too hot. I can't wait till the weather get cold. Oh man, it's too cold and windy. I can't wait till it's like, bro, you could never, satisfy everything in essence. You got to bring some type of balance, in a manner where, where it brings it as close as possible, because everything won't be exactly happy. Like, we're all gonna go through the ups and downs of dealing with something, So that's why it's important to just be, observe without being thrown off. You know what I'm saying? But I forgot what I was speaking. Oh, going to Pluto. I can't go below, but and just in opening your pineal in general, it helps with memory. But again, so we get to Pluto, and it's like, man, forget this bodysuit, man. I don't, now you at war with your being, because you chose to be on Pluto. Y'all done talked about it for eons. You was like, bro, we're gonna deal with it. We're gonna go through with it. Matter of fact, even knowing like we're gonna bump our head, that's another thing. Like, not only, like you bump your head a little bit, but before you went, you knew you was gonna bump your head and have to deal with it. You know what I'm saying? So, it's like, and a lot of us know that. Like, bro, yeah, we here for a reason, As much as you would want to go back or this and that, it's like, you're here now, be here now. Like, it's not my book, the Ram Dass book, be here now. But yeah, and again, that's that same vibe though. You get like, so how go to Pluto, bump your head, and like, oh man, I can't stand my body, this and that. And two, whether you say it or you may indirectly show it. A lot of us indirectly show it. A lot of us, we did a lot of drugs and stuff like that. That was kind of like, oh man, fuck this body. Smoking sherm, doing coke, all these different types of things. It's like, man, to hell with this body. That it's also like that fallen angel vibe that knows something is more. It's like, bro, I know I'm more than just this earthling. Like, what the fuck? Like, you know what I'm saying? Excuse my diction if the children watching, but that's another thing too. I gotta make sure. But anyway, it's that whole vibe. It's like hating your body, but I mean, you're in it for a reason. Love your temple. Just like if you might, like rent a car from somewhere or whatever, or leasing a car, treat that car, like you're riding in it in the moment, so clean it, or instead of like, well shit, I'll be switching to another car in the next week, so I'm just say, fuck this car, it's like, I mean, and to each his own, because I've been through like, from dealing with psychedelics, I've been able to see all perspectives and sit with them and be like, yeah, I can see that. You know, I can see why somebody is racist. I can see why somebody is not racist. I can see why somebody is like this. I can see why somebody is not like this. I can see why somebody love having a lot of money. I can see why somebody like being poor. Like I, have all these different vibes. So I could understand. It's like, oh man, I'm switching through these different cars. Man, forget this car right now. But then you start to see that the lesson is about, respecting the car. Your higher self gonna show you better than it could tell you. Like, hey, you might want to take care of this car, even though you might appear into the future and saw, about the past of reincarnation. You get another body. Still, you in this body right now. You in this vehicle right now. So tend to the vehicle you're in at the moment. So that's definitely something I just wanted to share again, like the Moldavite vibe. Make sure you're grounded when dealing with it, because it definitely dealing with these high chakras, and there's an intergalactical vibe to it too, or interstellar vibe. Like it has you connecting interdimensionally or multi-dimensionally, and just all over the place. It can have you traveling to different places. So you definitely want to be grounded, because again, that's how attacks come at you too. Think about the movie Insidious, and these movies are there to kind of scare you, and kind of have you on some fearful thing. So if you're fearful of like, oh man, the astral plane is that, scary. Not even say where you think of it consciously like that, but it's also be in your subconscious. That's why they make scary movies, to make you scared of the dark. On multiple reasons they're trying to make you scared of the dark. But that's the whole vibe with being grounded. Like if you're grounded, your energy, you still connected. Like in fact, check out my shaman anchoring video where you connect yourself, the Earth Star Chakra, to the center of the Earth, but as well as having your the energy come out of the crown, out the stellar gateway chakra, and higher, and then going through the center of the galaxy, in between the Scorpio and Sagittarius constellation, within the macrocosm, so to speak, and which is also where Ophiuchus is. So that's kind of like a cool little thing, that where Ophiuchus is also where the center of the galaxy is, considered to be. So that's kind of like I don't know, pretty interesting. And I think that's basically it. Just watch out for being too delusional and being so focused on the future, or just not being in the moment. Like if you find yourself just especially again, like people working with Moldavite, more so. You work with Moldavite and you just kind of find yourself a little too spacey, too out there. You might want to ground yourself with some good tourmaline. Matter of fact, some good magnetic hematites, just hematite in general. Got some garnet right here, the red garnet, tourmaline, hematite, black kyanite. Black kyanite is a good one, because that allows for you to be, in fact, black kyanite is good for doing the shamanic anchoring, visualization exercise, So that's definitely good. But fire agate, another thing that'd be good for grounding. But onyx, jet, somewhat petrified wood, but honestly, like anything, especially like either tourmaline or like hematite and that metal, the foundation of the body, in essence, it's made up of over 70% water, but it's also a lot of blood. There's blood everywhere in this body. What's in blood? Iron, So to stay in contact with your body, or with that grounding vibration, you want to stay in contact with the iron. That's what the pyrite is as well. Pyrite provides some grounding too, but it's a little too solar plexy, for me. But it definitely still provides that grounding. Because matter of fact, it's basically like iron sulfide, So it's like iron with sulfur, and that's where the yellow color comes from. So that yellow, that sulfur provides that fiery, hop into action, confident, self-esteem, that whole vibe too. That's why pyrite and hematite is good for the mental capacities, because when you're grounded and centered, you're able to uh, center yourself. You're not like everywhere. You're able to like take care of things in a centered type of manner. But I think that's it, y'all. Just again, just be careful when dealing with these high vibrational crystals. You definitely want to have some root chakra grounding. That's why I just keep repeating this. And two is, again, I be doing this on the fly. This thing I'm looking at, it just to let things to remember. But for the most part, just going with the information as it comes. I'm just making sure I don't miss on a good crystal to speak on for grounding or whatever the case may be. Yeah, that's about it. Peace. Happy now. Now is the vibrate, of course. Not going too far in the future. Not going too far in the past. Right now.